list because this is depressing.
All right, quiet on the set.
All right. Quiet on the set. You're listening to WRFB Radio Free Britannia. And this is Lunch, coming to you live from Deltona, Florida. Here are the dynamic duo themselves, Laz and Jack.
Greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
And this is Jack. Welcome to another and the only exciting show today of Lunch with Laz and Jack, where we
There's no other exciting shows today.
No. Interpret the Shroud if you haven't heard, dude.
Ace
so you
Fire
don't have to do
211
anything other
just
than question your own
followed.
personal life
Thanks
choices
for
and
joining
ours.
us, Ace Fire 211.
Because Laz is going to be going to the BMC convention. Thraddy is in town somewhere, probably 45 minutes away from me.
A little bit further than that. Yeah, we're going to be in the...
She's in Austin.
Oh, Thradia is... Yeah, okay. She's in
Yeah.
Austin. I thought you said I was going to be about 45 minutes away from you.
No, you're going to be in fucking
yeah, I was going to
6
say.
hours, 8 hours.
We're going to be several hours away.
Yeah.
Tina, this is the one, the only, the best show of the week, because this is it. And I hope everybody had a great 3-day weekend. Of course, you know, as we always do, we forget on Friday that we're not going to be here for the 3-day weekend because we do take those holidays. Of course, welcome, Acefire 211, to the stream. Thank you for the follow, and welcome to the NBNN news stream. But yes, this is the one show of the week. And of course, this is the last day that you will get a chance to get in your subs, your donations, your goodies to get in on our supporter race, which will happen next week, not this week, since we won't be here for the first. So when we get back, we will run that supporter race. For those of you donating 500 bits or more, hitting us up with a sub, or you know how it goes. If you need to, scroll down on the Twitch chat, and all the information is down there for you all. But of course, we've got an exciting show for you today. I think we're going to be covering quite a bit of area. But first, let's get to
Oh,
those
goodness.
exciting patch notes.
Patch notes? Exciting?
Yeah, well, we have patch notes. That's got to be exciting.
I mean, those are the release patch notes, though.
Patch notes.
I'm on
Refresh
patch
your
notes.
patch notes.
I am on my patch notes.
Okay, so then you should see build
Oh, May
1660.
28th?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought those.
Man, did
Okay,
it
so
again.
they corrected the available dates for release 114 subscriber rewards in the Crown Store. Only because we noticed it on Lunch with Laz and Jack that it was early.
Did they actually correct the proper thing? Did they take them out? Let's see.
Let's go to the Crown Store
Let's
and then
see.
go to recently added. Yes, they
Ah,
did.
yes, they took them out. They took them out. So for those of you who had a chance to buy them early, even though you shouldn't be able to buy them at all, they're there. They're gone until
Yeah.
2 weeks from now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the crafting shop, they added a lantern outside the front door, both in the NPC towns and the pot placeable version.
Because, there just wasn't enough deco in the game.
Yeah. The Epitaph, Granus Colossus, and the Oracle Colossus, they updated the logic that allows the avatar to collect the shards of the Vermilion Lens. Congratulations on
Yeah.
fixing the main
Well,
quest.
I haven't actually got confirmation on that yet. They've tried to fix it several times already. So
Oh,
until I actually see a full confirmation that it's fixed,
yeah.
I'm going to reserve my applause on that one, just because this wouldn't be the first time, it wouldn't be the second time, it wouldn't be the third time that they said this is fixed. So I'll be keeping my eyes out over time, and we'll check back next week. See if there's anybody saying, "Oh, I haven't been able to do it." Naked girls.
Yes. I don't know. She was wearing clothes this time. But Celestis and Tenebrous Harbor, they fixed an issue with the platform elevator switches not working properly and slightly spruced up the visuals
Yeah.
for these elevators.
Voltage hurricane. What's that all about?
What voltage?
Oh,
Hurricane?
he sent me he sent me a PM, and
Okay.
it holds a game key, but it doesn't tell me why or what the game key is for.
Oh, he's a
it's very
Twitch. You
cryptic.
sent him the black heart.
Yes.
Yeah. So he
Those-
won a game key. Yes.
Yes, and what's the problem? That's actually the game key for that to
Black
claim
heart.
it. The Black Heart is a game on Steam. When you win something, it's a mystery game key, or it's a giveaway game key. It's a free game that we give out to people. We give them away all the time. We'll be giving away one at the end of the stream. If you want to win one personally, all you got to do is win, but donate 300 bits. We'll get a mystery game key. It could be a $1.99 game. It could be a $60 game, but they're mysteries. And let's just take a quick look at the Black Heart. Black Heart is a $10 game, $9.99 on Steam. So, yes, there you go. That's what it is. It's a
So
versus
go to your
2D
Steam.
fighting game in the tradition of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, is what the description says.
So in order to claim that key, you open up Steam, and then you go to games and activate a product or redeem a Steam wallet code.
Yes.
Or activate a
So enjoy
activate
that,
the
and of course, make sure you're always
product on Steam.
raffled up! Exclamation! I love free shit, because that's how you win free games from us. And we're the only guys that I know to do that on the regular basis.
Yeah.
And of course, again, ways to get them: hit us up at 300 bits on either stream. We'll pull a mystery game key. We have hundreds of them, literally, to give away. Get us to 500 bits, and we'll either continue the news or play a race and then pull a raffle after that. All sorts of things. If we get the hype train going, there are certain games that I have, just to give you all. I have a whole bunch loaded up. Virtuaverse worth $14.99. Get us to level 2. Oddworld New and Tasty worth $19.99 if you get us to level 3. Dungeons 2, the complete edition, worth $32.66 if you get us to level 4. And Siberia Triple Pack worth $55.97 if we get to level 5. We get past that, I dip into the Leisure Suit Larry collection, or some other collections, which are all in the $50 and $60 bundle ranges. So all sorts of ways for you guys and gals to collect keys right here on NBNN. So moving right along.
Yes, that is. Da, 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 da,
Where were we?
Where were we? We were on Tundra Encounter. The Aether Dragon should now be a possible spawn at the correct time of year.
Should. Not guaranteed, but should.
Should. Thanks to automating seasonal creatures, we don't know if they work yet or not.
Yeah, well,
Some
the
Shroud
problem,
math
yeah,
involved.
the problem with certain seasonal creatures like the Death Bunny is Easter falls at different times during the year, so you can't always program that to be out at the same time every year, because one year it's earlier, one year it's later, one year it's earlier, one year it's later, unless they have a variable, which you know how we feel about Shroud the Avatar variables.
Well, we know variables are hard.
Hard, that's right.
Hard. Okay, then after that, we do have Ardoris. They fixed a typo in the Find 4 Books of Courage journal task. Out in Brookside, the wishing well is no longer protected by anti-theft protection
Hey.
because
Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
oh man, because wishing wells should definitely have anti-theft protection.
Yes. Out in the public, out in the wild. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, out in East March, they moved a lantern from atop a destructible crate to an indestructible one because all objects are supposed to be interactable. Out in Elad's Lighthouse, they added a teleporter boat to Novia and added a return to previous location boat and balloon. And as we've said before, that return to previous location is the most useless thing.
Why?
Never
Yeah.
should have been implemented ever.
I don't personally get it, but apparently
Yeah.
people out there seem to have use for it and enjoy it. There's actually a thank you note out there from some people.
Well, I mean, it essentially saves the person a scroll.
Ready Player Lenny, what's up, Lenmeister?
Yeah.
Hope you had a good week out in Daytona. Looks like you had some fun out there, brother. Good to see you out there. And of course, we are always looking good. Remember, Fernando says it's better to look good than to feel good, darling.
Yeah, that's going to voicemail because I can't answer that right now. That was a work call.
No phone call for you.
Yeah. Out in Midris Ruins, they regenerated the path grid with tighter parameters to stop NPCs from bouncing in certain locations.
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
Yeah. Out in Necropolis Barrens, they fixed the functionality of a lamp on a table in the Envy Angel's in the Envy Angel's house. And Port Harmony, they fixed a typo in Cyprian's Witch Tavern response and fixed a distracted visitor so that she is able to advance the daily
Complete
version of the
and
quest.
double check your scenes before you release them.
Or, you know what? Release them to the QA server
Test,
and
test,
tell as
test, and test
many people
again.
as possible. I mean, it's kind of like when they released Port Harmony, like the release notes say, hey, here's a brand new scene. And then it's like in the patch notes says, here's a bunch of fixes that we just did,
Which
followed by the
was
next patch, a bunch of more fixes.
all of the patch notes, yes.
Yeah. It's like brand new scene, but here are all the bug fixes we did in it. And they also moved several floating planters to the ground.
Yeah, Conjure Dragon, return to previous location can be useful. If I use a teleport from East Reach to Castle Atos, I can use previous location to get right back. Well, you know, that takes away the whole gold sink of burning a recall
Scroll,
or a scroll.
teleport to
So
zone scroll,
giving
or
you
teleport
free
to zone scroll.
travel totally
Yeah.
negates the point of the damn gold sink. Okay, hello.
How many people do you think really test the new publishes? One or two? Not
I
10
would,
or 12.
yeah, I
Not
would
not
go with,
not
yeah,
not 10 or
yeah, I would put
so
a
if we
hyphen
go to
between 12, one or two, yeah, if that.
yeah, and that's because if you actually go into the forums and you look at the QA server patch notes, if there's no QA server patch notes and no testing directive, then nobody knows what the fuck is there to test.
Yes. Like last month where there was zero, the big donut,
I
QA patch notes, zero testing directives. So
yeah.
what gets tested? Yeah. Fuck it.
And
Let's do it live.
if you actually look at the QA server patch notes, the last time that there was actually a release to QA server with information to look at was build 1468 on March 23rd,
Which pointed to
a
the actual
couple,
patch notes from the previous. Yeah.
which March 23rd was like the release day, or like the week before release day, but there
It
was
just
still,
patched in live server stuff. It really didn't do
yeah,
anything new. Yeah, it was really silly.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, what's the point of having a QA server then? The point is so that they can test in house. But since you are the testers and they don't ever do any testing of their own in house, there really
Well,
isn't any point. Yeah.
you
Yes, Tina.
it's one
In
where,
theory,
or if they even use the forums, they don't even use that. So it's like, what are they doing?
yeah.
We don't know.
Anyway, let's not drift too much off topic because I noticed a train wreck. Or we got some stuff to talk about today, so let's.
Okay, that
We,
review, which is
yeah,
awesome.
we've got to really get to that. So let's knock these out.
Yeah, the spectral mines, the well-known skeleton wave battle should now activate. And despite the fountain, wishing wells, and stables are no longer protected by anti-theft protection. And created in-game maps for the dev scenes. Created Isle of Storms in-game map.
Because everybody goes to the Isle of the Storms.
Yeah. And remember, the only way currently to get to the Isle of Storms is to find one of the Moongate things, although they're not moon gates. They're
fucking moon gates.
rifts. Yeah,
Lunar
moon
rifts.
rifts.
Lunar
rifts. When it is at the exact same location as the current town is.
Well, actually, you just got to jump through it twice. Jump through it once, and jump through it the second time.
Yeah,
it should be.
Which means that the lunar rift is at that location. Out in POT Dragonvale, they changed biome to Island 01 and moved to Mistrender near Port Harmony and upgraded to a municipality. And POTA Haven Ridge, they changed the owner, and the Sleepy Hollow they upgraded to a village from a hamlet.
Yes, indeed.
Hi, Lily. How are you doing? I'm glad you could jump up in with
Well,
us.
therein lies the rub, or is not enough juice. Yeah. What is the saying? Not enough juice for it to squeeze, or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're playing with dehydrated lemons, I mean, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of juice to squeeze out of them.
Furry tentacle attack. That's right.
Yes.
But yes, nobody wants to waste their time. The juice is not worth the squeeze. Thank you, Voltage Hurricane. I appreciate it. That's right. Is yeah, absolutely. When you got X amount of time to play, and just do what you want to do, then you want to spend that time playing, not testing. But came across a post. At least I came across a post that I shared with Jack yesterday, and
Yes.
there is one post that's already been deleted. I don't know if it was deleted by them or by the
The
uh,
person.
the actual person, which we'll get to. It actually happens right under Z's first post. So, but
Okay.
this is going to take us a bit, and this is
I'm surprised it wasn't
Oplick.
deleted.
I've got to give Oplick quite a bit of credit for
Kudos.
taking the time, and kudos to
Yeah.
point out and take the time to verbalize this so that we can now share this with all of you.
This is from Oplek. I keep coming back to Shroud of the Avatar, but not necessarily as an avid player, but as a fascinating case study of game design. This will likely be my last run here. I'd like to think I've been fair, at least with my criticisms. My knowledge here may be a bit out of date, but it almost doesn't matter.
It
Buckle
just
up.
doesn't matter.
On July 28th, 2016, Shroud of the Avatar crossed the event horizon. 100 gold. Why do nearly all skills and spells cost 100 gold? Am I the only one who found that a bit odd? I can see 100 gold for the baseline skills, but each row down the tree is 100 gold, then 100 gold, and yep, more 100 gold. For the price of a sandwich, a week-old stale Italian hero from Walmart, handed over to the supreme weapons master of the universe in Ardoris, he'll be like, okay, fine, I'll teach you the ways of the coveted seven-dimensional stab skill passed down only by those of the stabby stab royal bloodline. Why not one gold each? Why have them cost anything? Why bother visiting a trainer? They could just unlock them automatically.
Yeah, now, most other games, you reach a certain level, or you can't use a certain skill until you've reached a certain level and it unlocks for you.
Yeah, it's not like
Unlocks.
it's like their default numbers, and the devs just never got around to making them make sense later.
No.
Never.
Never gonna
We
happen.
we we would never have mentioned that things were put into the game as proof of concept with, hey, we're going to come back and fix this later, and never come back and touch it again.
But wait, there's more.
Yes. Honestly, the seventh dimensional stab skill should cost more like 1,000,000 gold and maybe helps with gold inflation. Maybe. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Recipes. No, not the in games recipes, not yet. I feel like a lot of game design is a recipe. I often make allusions to cook something up with a new menu item for a restaurant. This is an analogy that Laz will be able to understand. A game is a recipe. It has numerous ingredients. Or if it's like the peanut butter I get, it has one peanuts. Most recipes have multiple. No individual ingredient is good or bad unless it's rotten. Unless you're even that's acceptable if you're making some Swedish fish thing that requires rotten fish. I forget what it's called. I'm never eating it. Maybe I have eaten it. Which are mixed in different proportions and cooked differently.
Did somebody say
Even
peanut
slight.
butter?
Yes, he did stay.
Oh, yeah,
Even slight
you're gonna
tweaks
want to
such as
keep an eye in Discord.
whoa, why?
Just because I'm gonna be bad here. Come on.
Okay. Even these slight tweaks, such as whether there's yeah, you are being bad. Whether there's too little or too much salt can make or break recipes. It's precarious. Ingredients can enhance or conflict with each other. Before you is a cauldron. Today we're going to make a stew. We've lit the fire and we have an intimidatingly large spoon. Spankings shall occur. First, let's start with the base broth of Adventure Zone. It's all right, but our stew needs more. Next, some chopped player crafting economy. Whoops, looks like we sabotaged a big point of going adventuring, the loot. The loot cannot be better than the player's stuff. What this recipe needs is an unlimited classless system, and oh, why not? How about without any meaningful skill caps? Welp, we just turned the lobby zones into ghost towns, because there's little point to creating another character that will just end up being a clone of the first, because everybody's a GM of fucking everything.
Everything!
Yes, lutefisk. Let's try to undo that with skill specializations. Just two. What? The patrons want to specialize in literally all skills? Do they even know what specialization means? Just no. Takes a sniff. It smells like all the endless skills in farming is creating massive stockpiling of resources. Let's balance that out with a heaping pile of RNG that destroys heaps of materials. Yes. What that's you say, players are overly invested in their own gear and don't want any item degradation, breaking skills, or PvP. What's that you say? The economy has completely stalled. There is no reward for going adventuring anymore, and everyone is sitting on a pile of wealth, able to solo all zones with their overpowered character. Any gold inflation has gone bonkers because between everyone having tax-free properties, commission-free vendors, unbreakable tools, and endless high-level farming, selling endlessly to infinite gold NPC merchants, gold value has plummeted?
No, you don't say.
Okay.
But we won't offer an indestructible mold. Because we have morals.
Yeah.
Because it would break the economy, with all those gold sinks. Yeah.
Yeah, not like everything else hasn't broken the economy.
Input 20 million gold a month, output 1 million gold a month. Let's see, is that balance? I think not. Yeah.
Okay, let's put this on the back burner. We'll fix it in a post, maybe with artifacts or something. Now, in-game recipes. Remember when nearly all the recipes could be picked up cheap in Ardoris? Then one day, most of them that disappeared and were scattered to the wind, almost literally. You kill an enemy, you have a % chance to have a supply bundle drop. Then you have a % chance to have that bundle drop something cool, of which you have a % chance it will be a recipe, of which there's a % chance you'll put it on a vendor for someone else to buy.
Because you've already got it 300 times. Yeah.
There is and was an exception: obsidian recipes. Those, as it turns out, could be reliably picked up by exploring an adventure zone. They gave compelling reason to go to a specific area, a game where you go to adventure zones for hypothetically compelling reasons. Why
Rare
wasn't this
drops,
done with the rest of the
interesting
Why
stuff.
wasn't this? Yeah. Why wasn't this done with the rest of the recipes? Time limits? Just empty the bulbous bag of RNG into the cauldron and move on. We'll get back to it later.
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept. We'll get back to it later. What have they got back to later? Fishing. Oh
Oh,
wait.
okay.
Wait, aren't the trophy fish completely screwed up as well? Or
They say
yes.
they fixed that rotation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well,
but we made plenty more fishing trophies and other trophies that we really didn't need. They were really unnecessary.
yeah.
But we added more of those because we needed more random trophies in the world than fixing actual broken mechanics. But it is what it is.
Broken.
Fish.
These aren't broken mechanics. There's no broken mechanics here where everything's due to a screwed up RNG. Um,
Three.
so aside from randomly getting lucky enough to have recipes drop that you didn't already have, but how do you get non-store ones? Go to town, wait 2 minutes for each town's vendor, search to load, then see if anyone has anything you want, overpriced, of course.
Hey,
Back in the kitchen, the stew is starting to smell
capitalistic
kind of
pigs.
funky. What could we do about that? I'm no economist, but I think we could focus on the question of demand. People usually demand something that they want or need. There are several categories of ways to get there. One, destroy stuff. You swing your sword, it breaks. You got to replace it. Hint, guess which sectors of the economy are doing better than others?
Reality. What a
1.5,
concept.
destroy everything with regular player wipes. Number
Interesting.
2, planned obsolescence. Do what WoW seems to do, and with each expansion, just render all prior equipment resources obsolete. You
Yeah,
get a
well,
spike of crafting activity until the new plateau is reached.
can't do that
3,
until we get an expansion, which we have yet to see. So,
yeah. 3, have players quit. Their money and stuff is then effectively removed from the economy. Make sure to have new players join, otherwise this may backfire. They will then want stuff. They've partially implemented 3.
yeah, well,
Partially. I mean, they've done a great job with having players quit. Not so great with having players join in the numbers that quit.
Night Owl says, while
Ladder,
fishing, I did get better loot than I am wearing. Waterlogged boots. Wow.
yeah, yeah. Uh, Lateral progression. Create new kinds of things that are needed, usually in conjunction with new mechanics or some combination of the above. None of these are particularly good or popular. Number 4 weighs down the game. They just spent the last 12 months optimizing the game just to negate it because we've ramped the number of different items loading in from a pot from 500 to 750. Number 1 is probably the most confusing. People don't think of anything of quaffing a potion and it goes away. Of course it does. You used it. We had a mechanic in the game for gear breaking.
Supposedly,
It
it's
barely
still
works.
there. Yeah, supposedly, it's
Well,
still there.
it's still there, but it barely works.
Yeah.
I mean, your gear is supposed to take a massive hit if you die. And as you swing it, it's supposed to get destroyed as well. And so
When was
you're
the last
constantly
time you all saw your
well,
weapon is broken?
completely destroyed. So, like, if it hits a 0, not 0/0, but 0, it should be fucking completely broken and not be able to be repaired. But no, we don't ever see that.
But
We don't see gear completely
no.
destroyed because we hate the player crafted economy. We don't want players replacing their gear. Hence, we all run around with fucking gear unless we have an overabundance of resources and we get on a crafting kick. And then we're like, hey, let's see how we can game the RNG today. Yes. Join us in Discord.
Join us in Discord. Join us on the lot. Again, we are
Yeah.
the only show that invites you to come join us and talk about what we're
And
discussing. Give us your opinions.
Lily's snoring a little bit.
Have a conversation with us. Don't just be keyboard warriors.
Okay, you're late.
We're
Oh,
late.
we are
Thank you,
late.
Mom.
We are late.
And it is Taco Tuesday, so that means we're going to pull double.
Oh, yes.
So good luck to everybody. Thank you, Mom, for the reminder because this is a deep topic.
I almost got lost in my mining.
Yeah, there's Mom getting some bottles in the Maynard.
Lomir gets to walk over and exchange something with me while I turn around and also mail something off to the Stymie, the Savage Furry.
The furry. Long live the Stymie.
Yeah.
Here's Mom.
Thank you.
And then we get to close and reopen that giveaway. Yay. Dun, 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 dun.
And the Maynard.
Oh, I have to click that button that says accept trade, don't I?
Yeah, that helps.
Yes.
It helps if you actually give it to them. Absolutely.
Homer, why are you still standing there?
So, Voltage Hurricane. So the comment that you make, don't get me wrong here, there are plenty of issues, but there are some very good things too, like complete character customization on how you want to both build and play your character. So everyone can GM every single skill except when it comes to get up to 200 skill in everything except for 2 specializations. That's the only limit there is to character development is 2 specializations.
Ooh.
It's not one where it's like, hey, you know what? I want my character to be a healer. No,
A ranger,
because everybody's
a
a healer.
necromancer, an archer,
Yes.
a paladin. Yeah.
So it is a completely classless system with no skill caps, which means everybody is a GM of everything. You've got like Bridge Troll walking around with like 312 GMs. It's like, what's the point?
Bridge
What's the
Troll's
point
like
of
GM
re-rolling
everything.
another character? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point of redoing anything?
What's the point of me spending all my time becoming an alchemist when everybody and their dog can do it? What's the point of you becoming the world's best blacksmith when everybody else and their dog can do it? Yeah. But it doesn't make sense to waste your time and energy to try and do that when everybody else can do it. I remember the days back in Ultima where if you needed a blacksmith, you needed a blacksmith because you were a mage or you were a fighter or you were whatever. And people would line up at the smithy shop to hopefully find an
have someone
honest
repair their stuff. Yeah.
to find an honest blacksmith because you actually had to hand over your materials to these person, and this person could say, "Sorry, the repair screwed up," and they could just put it in their backpack and keep it to themselves if they really wanted to. So you had to build not only trust and community by being a really good person at what you did, but honest and trustworthy at the same time. Where here you have none of that. I mean, this is a great community. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of honesty and a lot of trust here. But when it comes down to having to, why do we have blacksmithy repair when all you got to do is drag a scroll on top of it or pay some kodos to fix your damaged equipment? You don't even need the blacksmith, But I digress.
Well, no one's got 200 skill in anything that I'm aware of other than devs who just set all of their skills at 200.
And remember, it was supposed to take a real life year to GM a single skill.
And that is to get to 100. Now
That's
you can
to get
do
to
it
100.
in 4 hits.
Yeah, you can do it in 4 strokes of the key if done right these days.
For some skills.
Of course, they forgot about people who don't have lives.
Well, that's most gamers.
Yeah. And realistically, the you also have to remember the curve is more of like a very gentle plateau. There is no real major changes between most of these skills.
Well,
I mean,
Dr.
once you
DDT, we've been very loud proponents of 100 being GM for a long time. We don't
yeah
believe that should be a grandmaster at 100 because just about anybody or their dog can
no
achieve
yeah
grandmaster. It should be uh, a lot
well
closer to that 200, which is
considering that if you can get into a nice farming party and you hit attenuation, that is actually taking 2 skills from 0 to 100. 2.
yeah,
Sometimes it can be 4 or 5, depending on the skill.
off a
So
potion,
it
read a
yeah,
book, blast
but
off your skills.
it is one where it's like it's everybody has min-maxed the game to such an extent to where it's like you had people running around with a XP pool of in excess of 1 billion XP
Yeah.
not being used.
Let's see, what's my XP pool at, and has been for God knows how long. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sitting on almost 58 million, and that I haven't touched in probably a year. And again, we've seen people in the billions with that.
Yeah.
And what is
Well,
my adventurer level at these days? I'm sitting at
the other
adventurer level 122, producer 100.
the other thing about that is that there is like there is no like real design related to what players are supposed to do other than GM every single skill.
Dark Blue Monkey just
And
cheered
it's like
300
there
bits.
is
You got a
really
mystery
no
game key,
real
Dark Blue Monkey.
specialization
I
that
love this
really
shit.
is super beneficial.
Dark Blue Monkey, thank you
Yes.
for the 300 bits. That's going to get
But
him his
back
mystery
to
game key.
this post where but weapons. Oh no, that's a forever thing. Why?
Oh
Because you spent
no!
80 hours, millions of gold, and several rounds of the pinnacle of the game design, annihilating warehouses full of materials because you got a bad roll of the dice. Oh, they fixed it so it only locks down the item with lower durability. Oh, now the vendors are loaded with crap failed items because the high level prolific crafters to down out in lower competition. I think he means drown out. And what
We
skin
get the
key did
point.
dark blue
Um,
monkey get?
I'm loading them up here as
Oh, okay. I'll
I,
keep
I,
going while
I,
you're doing that.
I hit the wrong thing and I opened up ones that were already dead keys, so I
Yeah,
have to get to the
man,
one that's
that cauldron
actually
in the
got
back.
real keys.
I sure do wish we could just, I don't know, start it over. People are weird.
Start
I'll
over.
hand wring over spending $10 a month on YouTube Premium, but will think nothing of buying a game on Steam for 15 and then never play it. We
Never
seem to
play
be
it.
an assortment of randomly formed compartmentalizations.
Opening the mystery game key. And Dark Blue Monkey, you've got a copy of Vambrace Cold Soul.
Okay,
Vambrace
so
Cold Soul for
Dr. DDT,
$24.99.
there is no benefit to actually really getting 200 skill in anything the way that the XP accumulation is done. Okay? So it will take billions of XP to get 200 skill in one skill, okay?
Which
Billions,
is
several billions.
almost mathematically impossible to achieve. Almost.
But zero benefit over someone that's got 140 skill. I mean, if you bring up your skill tree and you start looking up like the difference between say 100 and 120 or 130, it's minor. It's a minor progression. There is not a
So
substantial
minute.
progression for getting way up there. Okay. So you end up with issues related to the design where it's like, okay, you're getting 0.5% on one thing.
Yes,
Yes, minor does not
diminished.
equal zero.
Yeah,
It's
diminished
diminished
returns,
returns.
absolutely. But it again, the juice is not worth the squeeze at a certain point. When you hit
Yeah.
150, you're not going to get more that much more by going to 200 than being at 140 or 150 to account for the billions of experience you're going to burn in order to get
Yeah.
that little bit extra. By the time you're already at that point, you can probably solo just about anything in the game by yourself. So what's the point is basically what we're pointing out. There is no point.
Yeah.
I mean, now, if your goal is just to be that person who might hit 200, again, you're going to spend a long, 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 long time because the Shroud math of how um, those next
How
levels are
XP is.
calculated,
Yeah.
yes, goes something like this: from level uh, 80 to 100, it's 2 times the previous level. Okay, then from 100 to 101, it's 2 times the previous level, and then at level 101 to 102, it's times two the previous level, which infinitely grows until 103, 2 times the previous. And, so at 1 billion, from what, so just using 1 billion as an example, from 100 to 101 is 1 billion. From 101 to 102 is 2 billion. From 102 to 103 is 4 billion. And it doubles every single time. So by the time you're getting up to those levels, the amount of it's just the juice is not worth the squeeze, is what it comes
So
down to. Yeah,
so there is the XP planner that was put together by somebody, I think Rosemorn, a long time ago, where 16 billion skills for active skills. For passive skills, it was 30, or some skills were 33 billion, some were 66 billion XP in order to get up to 200. It's a complete and utter waste.
yes,
The,
is
the no, so if you think about it, minute changes between 100 and 200
I
skill,
mean,
there's
we're
not a
talking up to 66 billion points just to
Mhm.
get to certain levels.
Yeah,
Ammo scavenger, eagle eye, draw strength. Yeah, I mean,
but
300. Yeah, moon warding, 334 billion just to get to moon warding.
it is minor changes, minor changes. So there is no real benefit to doing it. Like the easiest one that I can think of is milling, right? If you had 200 batching materials, right? Do you know how many items that batches versus
Yeah,
110 skill? At
yeah.
200 for your batch, you can get a maximum batch of 120
And then when you get
versus
down to the tactics tree,
110 is
we're
91,
talking
92.
a trillion to max out
Yeah.
in the tactics tree. That's maxing out, but we're talking, 83 billion, 66 billion, 167 billion, 334 billion. I mean, it's just not worth it. It's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, again, if that's your end goal, by all means, more power to you. But,
And way before you hit any of those maximums, you are already soloing every single thing in the game. And what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, again, and that's just our opinions. You're absolutely right, Dr. DDT, and you don't have to agree with it. Most
Yeah.
people don't, but again, at a certain point, you got to just ask yourself why. That's my point. Yeah.
And
Let's
I mean,
continue on with this.
you can see how godly 200 skill is by watching any of the devs fight without God mode on, and then watch them get killed by someone much lower than them.
No, at 100 every skill, you can't solo everything in game, but with 140 in
No.
every skill, you most
Yeah.
likely can.
Yeah.
You don't need 200 to do it, is what
No,
we've
you
seen
don't.
people one hit a dragon with a bow and arrow, dude, and they're not
Yeah.
at 200. Okay, I can tell you
No,
that
they're
much.
nowhere
Yeah.
near. Yeah.
So
Nowhere near
when
200.
you can one hit a dragon, you know you've really maxed out your character.
And it's like if they're nowhere near 200 skill, it's like there's a massive problem with the game design
I
that
mean,
allows for these things to happen. And
I'm gonna say my taming
the
skill is probably my most, and the highest I have are 100s and 140s because they're really even at that the taming skill 145 is really unnecessary because there's not much. There aren't any animals that require anything over that unless they've added something recently, which of course I have no interest in at this point in time. And the summoning skill, uh, you know, the effective level of the summoning skill, uh, I'm already at 187.1% effective. And at the next level, which is 100, what is it? Is 200% effective. But, I'm to the point where um, I don't have any delay in my summoning. I can dismiss and summon, dismiss and summon. So why would I go any further when I can just summon on demand at this point? You understand? Um, you know, once I get to the point where there is no cooldown for me to summon, I've achieved. You know, what's going any further going to get me? I don't get anything. More effective after that. Tame creature max level. Well, I think my tame creature is at, the power they're at, kick ass enough as it is for what I want to do. And again, that's for what I want to do. But
I agree 100%. But the reason we have so many people with 300 plus GMs is because there are veteran players that have probably played the game for years, and the rarity of these players is low because the base players are very low. What? The base players are very low?
no,
How many players do you know that don't have a single GM?
I mean, personally, I only have 141 GMs. So I haven't reached 300 GMs like
No,
Bridge Troll, but,
no, no,
I,
no,
I,
no.
I have, yeah.
We are not upset because people can GM skills in a few days, and you've been playing for years and you can't even solo everything in game. No, that's not what we're complaining about. We're complaining about the game design
And to be
allows.
absolutely correct
Yeah.
on that, we're not complaining about it. He is. Okay, this is we're reading somebody else's post. We
This
didn't
is
write this.
Oplex post.
We didn't author this. We're just telling you what his outlooks are and what he thinks of the game. That's pretty much what we do here
Yes.
99.9% of the time is we're just reading to you and telling you what the opinions of other folks are, and then we give our insight as to how we feel, agree or disagree with that.
So
That's all.
Trick Steve just
for
followed.
one,
Thanks for joining us, Trick Steve.
Trick Steve,
I,
really?
I I agree with the majority of his comments. Okay, the design for XP is fundamentally flawed. I am fine with it being in a single player version of the game. GM everything, do anything that you want. for
Absolutely, yeah.
the multiplayer version of the game, the sense of community. You want people to be professionals in what they're doing. The way that everything is done is that everybody can GM everything, so there's no incentive for people to actually
I'm going to give them a
differentiate their
really
builds.
great example. When we first started playing, Jack and I both decided to go after alchemy skills. And we decided that scrolls was going to be something infinitely everybody would need, like toilet paper. So we went after the alchemy skills and we were going to go and become really great alchemists. Until somebody in their right mind decided that they're going to add scrolls as drops, they're going to add potions as drops, and just about everything else that you can make alchemically as freaking drops. Okay, which basically made our skills fucking worthless. Okay, when stuff like that happens, not only does it not behoove us to want to go and put anything
Incentivize.
in, incentivize us to go put more into those skills. Why? You just gave everybody 90% of what we can make away for free. And then on top of that, you can just be a basic alchemist and you can take those lesser potions and squash them together with a recipe now to make greater potions. So, and that they found for free. So what's the use of us being alchemists if anybody can just get that stuff for free? Okay, that's just one example. But anyway, yeah,
Or
Trick Steve, I agree you've been
if
gone
you
for a bit, but I would have sworn you were a follower long ago. But thank you for the
if
follow
you
anyway,
look at
buddy.
majority of streamers of Shroud, how many hours did they sit on a control point and just farm XP?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the most prolific streamers of Shroud spent majority of their stream sitting on one control point, barely moving, just tossing a bunch of skills and just slaughtering absolutely everything.
Yeah. Let's
No
see if we can't
real
finish this. I don't think we're
fantastic
going to be able to
gameplay.
do it.
What?
Let's see if we can get this finished. We only got 5 minutes. If we have to go a little over, we can, because, hey,
There's a
it's the
lot of
only
player
show.
expectation and audience crafting that goes into something like a game or a YouTube channel, etc. It requires this particular realization, and from time, effort put into it, you can't just allow players to endlessly skill up ultra high level crafting, creating ridiculously expensive equipment, then expect them to be willing to part ways with it. To allow that sure seems like they didn't think it through. For those complaining about the non-existent player economy, we could ask, how should the devs fix it? Not my job, you say? I'd like you to step back and reflect on whether you've handed them an impossible task, vetoing all possible avenues for repair. Maybe that's why they're ignoring you. I launched quite a bit of criticism, but I don't think there is one particularly fair, not in current day 20XX. Yeah, if everything was great, we wouldn't have such problems with making money and keeping players. Yeah. On July 28th, 2016, Shroud of the Avatar crossed the event horizon. On December 25th, 2021, and the James Webb Telescope launched, and it was a little terrorizing because 25 years of work hinged on 20 to 30 minutes of blasting into space. Sure, they could make minor corrections, but that small window is what makes or breaks the whole endeavor. Can we increase how much gold skills cost? Maybe, while also unfairly benefiting older players. Can we fix the player economy? That'd probably also kill the game at this point. There's not many players to kill, and that may be a significant improvement. Can adventuring feel rewarding? Not without a fundamental reinvention of the game. Can recipes be distributed into zones? Not without taking time away from the other 1,000 systems they've thrown against the wall, hoping something will stick. That stew we're cooking, it needs to be emptied and started over. We can't just keep adding in ingredients. You must carefully measure the ingredients. You just can't wing it. Almost everything you pour into the stew cannot be unpoured. It's there permanently, forever. Except for heritage items, which was one of the best possible reversal scenarios, and that went awry.
Took a couple
And
years
most
to get rid of.
Yeah, took a couple years to get rid of, and then introduced a nice 1.5 month dump of everything. And most importantly, the recipe, at least in its fundamentals, needs to be correct before players become invested, which is further complicated by crowdsourced rewards. After a long day, I came to realize this. On that day in 2016, the fate of the game was sealed. Maybe they can steer, I don't know, around the singularity. I think I saw a movie about that. On that day, the opportunities to do fundamental course corrections and recalculations indeed ended. They couldn't empty the cauldron anymore. The current game developers, which I interpret Chris offering some tech support, but otherwise having passed the reign to others, are Wally from the coincidentally named movie Wally. They spent the last 700 years dutifully collecting garbage, compacting it, and creating piles of compacted garbage. Why? Because that's the last instructions they got. They are forever condemned by the decisions of their ancestors. Psst, what are you doing? Do you think that completing episode 2 through 5 will save the game? Is that time well spent? Quick quiz. Do new players experience episode 1 zones first or episode 5? We're never going to finish this today.
Pop quiz. Here we go. Go ahead.
Yes.
We got some extra time. We'll take it today. The
To
only
those
show
who
of the
paid
week.
for those episodes, which they're no longer legally obligated to fulfill, are you willing to sacrifice that to let them spend time trying to grab the space steering wheel and drive around the singularity? Standing back, I'm constantly baffled by what I'm seeing. I'm still waiting for Chris to rip off those band-aids that he promised that he was going to rip off 4 years ago.
The inmates are running the asylum.
Yes, the inmates are running the asylum. The one thing I've heard repeatedly about the game, it has potential. I often wonder what Richard Garriott's contributions to the game actually are. I can list aspects of the game that seemed interesting that may even be his ideas. He contributed ideas. It was to the rest of the development team to implement them. The reason that we used Unity is because Chris Spears sat there and grabbed a copy of Unity, quickly chunked out of scene, and it's like, look how quickly we can develop this on this platform. Recipe discovery, but instead of expanding that, maybe making it so every character gets their own unique combination of materials to make them different variants of items unique to that character. I think it was sabotaged and dialed back years ago. Everything was right. Virtues, anti-virtues, which could have had a lot of interesting implications for gameplay. Garriott even said the numbers would never be revealed until they were.
Well, they were.
Yet,
That's right.
little has come of this. Yeah. Well, because for one, like all the quests were supposed to be like the Clink quest, where they actually had impact on how other players responded to you and everything else.
Moral dilemmas. That's right.
Yes. Every single thing was supposed to be a moral dilemma, and it was actually supposed to impact the world around you, which has never happened.
Except in the Clink.
Sieges, except for the Clink quest. The Kabbalists could have been a great faction mechanic, but the sieges got in the way, and instead of fixing and pushing it to fulfill its potential, they were sabotaged and abandoned. Short-sighted planning. Regional economies and control points. Now you can just walk through. Now you can magic your stuff around the world. I mean, because the /zone command, which became the zone scroll, was never supposed to make it into the game. It wasn't. But they did it anyways. Yes. Entire possible professions such as haulers and EVE Online are now little more than vapor. Anything that could have made the game interesting has been systematically removed in favor of endless purgatory of seeing how long you can attenuate to make your numbers marginally go up with ever diminishing returns, and how many different variants of birthday cake you can collect. So much for the success of the game depended on having a solid core, a clear vision, and a well-calculated initial trajectory instead of endlessly piling on layers of technical debt. horses. It's technical debt. This is what the industry veterans should have known. So what's the biggest obstacle standing in the way of them pulling a Final Fantasy 14? It's not actually money. It's you. Maybe they can spend the money to fully refund everything you paid in, refund you your time, but that's unlikely to happen. It's nothing you did wrong, but you are in the way, and you won't get out of the way. It's also understandable, given how much you've sunk into this game, and you can't be replaced until they have a replacement game, and you're one of the people who are still willing to pay, which is needed to replace the game, which will end once you and the game are replaced. You didn't do this on purpose. You were put in this position. The fate of the game was sealed in 2016. I think he wants everybody to quit so that way they can fix it.
Yeah, again, that's not going to happen. But what is going to happen is we're going to put an end to this here, and we're going to pull up some giveaways, and then we're going to get the flock out of here for about a week. Well, I go off and celebrate with some guild members out in Hot Springs, Arkansas, where we're going to have a good time, get together with some old friends and some new friends that we haven't met in person yet, like Tradia and Lomir.
I've met Tradia in person.
I know you have. Sure. You were visiting Florida. She was visiting Florida. I live here. Neither one of you come visit me. Yeah, I know. You visit each other while you're visiting. But yeah, and then we get to meet Lomir for the first time.
She's like 45 minutes away from me right now.
Yeah, I know. She's scared to death that the drivers in Austin are crazy.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of that. That's why I don't drive around.
Well, let's go ahead and pull a couple more streamer bundle giveaways.
But Dr. DDT is winning a copy of Dark Deity.
A Night Owl, you are our first winner, and Mom's going to get herself some more bottles coming up here as well.
For me, and also Lomir. So, oops, and there goes my automatic lights shows over.
And Hubert EK, you're going to get yourself a copy of Omen X. Plague on Steam.
Lomir, come.
And Omen Exitio on Steam. We're at $9.99. So congratulations to Hubert and Mom and
Thank you.
And a Night Owl. And of course, we'll be back with more next week. Don't know exactly what day, probably Tuesday, but we don't know. I don't know what happened to your light. You got like all sorts of stuff going on.
You know, my lights automatically shut off.
That's right, because you have those automatic things. But meanwhile, we're out of here. I'm Laz.
I'm Jack.
And we are NBNN. Have a great week, folks, and we'll see you all next week.